it would be fun to actually color in the paint in the cover of my new book. I'm having some jasmine tea. I used micron pens to sketch this out. And if you ever want to do a miniature painting like this, a really good tip is to just literally Google different elements if you can't picture it in your mind. And that's kind of what I did. If I couldn't picture it in my mind, I just kind of looked it up and added that in there. And while you can do something similar to this with graphics, if you are working on a book cover or an illustration or a birthday card set for someone, obviously it's a lot cuter when you can paint it. And then when you're done, you can also, I'm going to use this really small brush, smallest one I can find. And when you're done, you can always take a photo of it and reuse it for different projects. I'll show you guys how to do that later. Do not mix up your tea and your water. That's always dangerous. Talking to myself. So I think that this is more just a way to experiment with your color palette. I'm going to use the brightest green and using a lot of pigment and very little water. Or if you want the color to be lighter, just a little pigment, but still very little water. You're not going to want to have much water in this situation. And again, if you watched the other video from yesterday, you can always go bigger and you can always go darker. So these kind of leaves, they do actually naturally have holes in them. So I'm not gonna sit here and worry about like getting all these like tiny little spots colored in. That's something that I notice my students will do, and then they don't know exactly why it doesn't look the way they want it to until they realize you don't need to fill in, especially with watercolor. Watercolor is just like so up for interpretation. Same with the stem. Like you don't need to like worry that these parts of the stem didn't get colored in. This one's behind another leaf, so that one's tricky. And I'm not even getting more paint. What I did was I started with the biggest one. And then as I get into the smaller ones, you can see the paint colors changing. That's fine. Like you can always go darker. So just try it like that. And it kind of adds a little bit of depth. And I'm like, do I like it? If not, I can go in. This one's so small, I'm just gonna do dots actually to darken it. Easy. This one, I'll let that dry before I do this one, because if I start to get into there, that's where you get like your bleeding and like a big blob of color that you don't want. So I'll just leave that for a second. I'll go over and do this little cactus. I think I'll try the light green, but I really don't know what that's gonna look like. Stippling's always good in tiny spots, or like just doing little dots. I'm gonna let that dry and then I'll come back over with another green. I'm gonna make this kind of like a burgundy, so I'm gonna get this sort of red and do dots really small, because I'm gonna come back through with another color. Doing two colors, even in a small spot, it just adds something kind of cool to it. I'm gonna take that red and put a little bit in here because it's light on my brush. Sometimes it's like just a chess game of like strategy of like the end of the color. I'll usually use it somewhere because it's like the perfect amount of color, and I'm quite aware of how much color's on it because I just used it over here, right? So it's not like a surprise, whereas when you grab a whole fresh color, sometimes it's not quite what you thought. And I also just realized that I drew a pot here and I did not put a plant in it. So I think that'll be a good place to do a fluffy fern. I like painting with you guys when I do not know what's gonna happen and do not have it planned, because that's really what painting is. So I'm going to paint the pot in front of it first and then put in the little fern. I'm gonna get like a tan color and do that one light so that you can see the fern in front of it. And also another thing I like to do with objects is, instead of painting them the colors that they're supposed to be, I like to paint them the color things I would like them to be. So like, yeah, pots are brown, but not these pots. Okay. Oh, I got way too much paint on there. Or water. Too much water. Doo-doo-doo. This tiny painting, I mean, man, it's really all about just not filling stuff in. Okay. I think this bright yellow. Hope you can see that. That'll be good. Dark blue. Kind of. It's not the navy blue, it's just the dark blue. Whoa, that has a lot of water, so it's gonna take a while to dry, so I'm gonna have to leave it alone. You can always like smudge something with your finger, but that is so small that I know better. If I smudge that, it's gonna be way bigger than the pot. Let's see. Olive green. And I'm just gonna, and you know, there's other times too where it's okay to paint outside the line. Oh my gosh, I know that's like the opposite of everything we're told. But sometimes it can just look cool, especially with these tiny paintings. That was Mrs. Maple Butters, if you heard that noise. She is my rabbit and she talks a lot. That was an experiment. I don't know how I feel about it, but it's there now. I'm gonna leave that pot white for now. That's another thing to remember. Like, this image is actually going to be cut out and put onto a color when it's finished on the book, which is, I'm not totally 100% sure what color, but I think I know. So I'm also gonna remember, and if you're doing an object that you're going to remove later, use later, or even put on a background with color later, remember to leave things that are white, because there won't be any white in the picture if I color everything in. Okay, so now I have a crucial decision. Should I color in the bookcase first, or should I do the objects so that I know where to color around them? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do the edges of the bookcase, and then I'm gonna do the objects, and then I think I'm gonna go back in and fill this inside like lighter. I just don't wanna do something I can't go backwards on. And if I go ahead and color all this bookcase stuff in, and I haven't colored in these objects, and the bookcase is like ends up being too dark, it's just, there's nothing I can do. But if I do these objects first, and then I go back in and kind of realize, oh, I just need a little tiny bit of brown here, tiny bit of brown here, and suggest the inside, it's gonna look a lot better. So that's my decision. Let's see. This is like a smudge stick. So I'm gonna get the olive green. And wow, man. Yeah, doing this tiny watercolor. I don't know if I've ever actually done this tiny. Space is key, man. Like leaving little white spots. Now this is a mortar and pestle and mine is like white marbles. So I might leave it white, but I'm gonna use the brown to do the handle because those are usually wood. And I'm gonna add a different brown to that. Now these are supposed to be like essential oil bottles, so I'm gonna try to find like that indigo, like that really, actually no, that dark brown color that essential oil bottles are. And I'm gonna do both of them. Yeah, that makes sense. This is tricky because some of these are supposed to be glass. So like this crystal amethyst, I'm gonna start a color over here for that because that needs to be like purple, which can get a little crazy. And I'm gonna wash it with like a watery purple, but again, it's watery in pigment ratio, but I don't want a lot of water on my brush. Ooh. And like start with that because you can always go darker. Right, and then I'll let that dry, and then I'll come back in with a dark purple later to make that make sense. And you know what? I'm gonna put a little bit on this crystal, even though this one's not gonna be purple. Crystals do tend to have like different colors, so here we go. Oh yeah, I'm gonna finish that handle. Oh, that's that red that keeps tricking me. That looks like it's brown. It's so nice out today. I was gonna paint this later, but it's super overcast, which is the best time for painting outside. One, it doesn't burn me to death, and two, the light is perfect. It's also, this is worth noting, perfect lighting for taking a photo of your paintings. And even for taking a photo of your paintings that you can use as an image for other things, like a t-shirt or a mug or like whatever. You can take really good photos in this kind of light that can be used for that. And if you have a great camera, awesome, it's gonna turn out great. But I've even been able to do it with my phone camera and get away with it. So this is supposed to be smoke. And so I'm gonna, oh, that's not gray. No. I think I'm gonna leave it. I think if I try to like add color to that. Okay, here's some like watery black. And I'll just soften it a little bit. There we go. I really hope that looks like a smudge stick. Okay. Now, that is a candle. And because I'm not convinced it looks like a candle, I'm going to color that the color of like a classic beeswax candle and hope that that alone, that's another good trick when you're painting. If maybe something you did not like come out exactly how you wanted it to, you can always redeem yourself with a little bit of recognizable color. And now I hope that really looks right. So this is like an old Japanese teapot. So I'm gonna do in the color that actually that mine is in, which is like cast iron, and it has like black all over it. from being on the stove. And mine is actually extra black because it was caught in a fire at one point. But I'm not going to add that much black. I'll let that dry, obviously, before I start putting in some black in there. I don't know, I kind of like it. I just leave it like that. Now, this is a glass jar with tiny little mushrooms. Now, I could just do them brown, but I don't think that's as fun as doing like the little red ones that you see in cartoons. So I'm gonna do dots of red. I know it seems like with polka dots, usually they're like red with white polka dots, but when you're doing this tiny, if you do red polka dots, obviously I can't do white polka dots. The paper is white. It actually just kind of looks like it anyway. It just kind of tricks you. You know what I mean? I think it's fine. And sometimes, and this is again just for like tiny things, this whole lesson is really about teeny tiny painting and how different it is. I'm gonna come in and do this dark purple now. So it's gonna require a lot of pigment, barely any water. I hope it's dry. And I'm just gonna follow the line. Okay, so it's not dry, but fortunately, when you're doing a crystal, oh yeah, I do that a lot. Feel free to steal that. It's kind of okay that it does that on a crystal, so we're lucky. I'm going a little bit outside the line. I want to leave that white part. I hope that looks like a crystal now. Yeah, that's all right. This part's got a little crazy, but I can always fix it later. This one I think would be cool if it was like aquamarine. So I'm gonna take this green. Ooh, that's cool. That's like emerald. And then I'm gonna take this cyan blue. And I don't know if people say that differently. I've actually never heard anyone say it out loud. C-Y-A-N. So let me know if there's a better way to say that. And I'm gonna mix those two together, and that's how you're gonna get like aquamarine. It's so pretty. Okay, now I have a lot of color on here. So I'm gonna do the lines first. And also because that didn't work like exactly as I wanted it to. So I'm gonna do it the other way this time. And like, I've painted crystals before, but not this tiny. So, you know, I'm learning as I go. And I think that is a really great way to do these lessons with you guys because it's real. It's happening right now. And to me, painting is more of like concepts than like these like steps and perfections. It's like life. Like you might try it the same way and just be like, well, that did not work the same way. Every painting is different. The paper, the brush, the different medium, whatever. Okay. Now if I'm gonna leave that white, I think I need to color in that pot. Yikes. Oh, also, I really love these pads. I'll show you this pad real quick while I'm waiting for that to dry. They're like glued. So, I mean, there's different brands, but so see how I got like that water there? If this wasn't glued down, like the paper would start to buckle as it got wetter and wetter, and then it's all like curled up. And this is really cool. Like I'll literally have to like peel this off so it will dry totally flat. Okay, moving on. This is a glass jar with like an herb in it. So I think I'm gonna do yellow again. Barely any water, just like tons of color. And oh boy, it's so tiny. Not just tiny. And then that bottle, I think I'm gonna do like blue, dark blue glass. I think that should work good. With a label. There, that's nice. And then I'm gonna take that dark blue and do a line here. I want that to kind of look like that old cream pottery. How the heck do you do cream? I don't even know. Tan, let's try this. Tan, brown, I guess. There's not on there. And then I'm thinking lots of water. And then, yeah, like tons of water. And then squeegee, a lot. And then get it. And then, this is an experiment. I'm just gonna do like half of it. Not, I don't know if that works. We'll just leave that for now. Okay, we're getting pretty close here. I'm gonna finish this crystal. I think it's dry. Nope, it's not dry. This pot, and then I'll show you how to do the filling in of the bookcase part. It's a color that I haven't used. I'm looking at my pots around the garden. This is a tough one. Ooh, there's no pink in here. So I'm gonna get 2 different reds. And then, how do you do pink? Oh my gosh. I have this, you can obviously do like super watered down red like I did over there. That looks kind of pink. But I'm gonna just put this on here. It's cool, it's like it's called a woody. I got it at this really cool craft store in Idlewild called Art Department. They have like the most funnest, don't care if that's not a word, art supplies ever. Okay, so that red is like so bright. I'm gonna go back to this brick red. Yeah, that's much better. It like looks darker on the palette, but it ends up being a way better pink. So it's pretty much the same pink that I used there, this watered down like brick red, but I think with that there, it should look a little creamier. Oh boy. That's a lot of water. The dance between the right color and too much water. Okay, that looks good. I'm gonna come in with like a super, just because I can, a super small micron. 03. There's a tiny one. 003. And I'm gonna do like a little scribble of like writing. Tiny. Yeah, that's cool. All right, let me check and make sure video is still going. Nice, okay. Ooh, my tea's getting cold. I think we're good. All right, so this bookcase, I'm just gonna do like an antique brown kind of vibe thing. I'm just gonna start with this plain brown. It's pretty chocolatey. I don't know if I like it. Mix it with this tan maybe. See how that comes out. Whoa, I almost got paint all over it. Yeah, so I just did tan and like chocolate brown. I'm gonna start on these little parts because they're probably the hardest to like ruin. Or maybe not. And like if you ever notice, like see how I was like, woo, there's like way too much paint on that part. Just pull it away. It's so much safer if you can. Obviously I was lucky there. If that wasn't supposed to go there, I would have to show you something else. But just pull it away. Like it is water. And something that I really love about this style where like you mark it out with a micron, on a microscopic level, it's got like indentations in the paper now, which really helps. It's your friend. It helps the water kind of stay in these little channels a little bit. Not like 100%, but it guides it. And that's so nice. So I'm going to start with this dark first because you can always go darker. And like if I do this dark part, and this is where it's just like, it's fun and it's relaxing, but I like the like strategy of it. Even when you're not even doing like a super serious painting, like this is kind of whimsical, but I mean, I guess you can make it as serious or as whimsical as you want. I guess it doesn't really matter. Forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, so like if you do this and then you start to do this and you realize that they're the same color, you can't lighten anything, but I can lighten this edge. So I'm doing it first as a tactic. I guess it could be really serious. This is my final drawing of the cover, and if I mess it up, I have to totally start over. But I try not to think about that. And we'll just say it's not serious, and then that helps the body relax and paint better anyway. Same thing for singing and playing music on stage too. Okay, so that's not bad. I'm happy with the like chocolate brown and the tan mix. Sounds good. I'm gonna go into these lines now. Now look, they're suggestive, okay? And I'm gonna be careful not to, even if the line, just don't, yeah. And now see, as the paint's wearing off my brush, I'm gonna come in and do a tiny bit of like the light color. Okay, now see how just that little bit like totally suggests, right? And now that I know my brush is pretty lightly coated, I'm gonna do like a suggestion. See, I didn't worry that like, just didn't worry about it. And then maybe like here a little bit. And I'm gonna try to focus it on the back panel a little bit. Oh boy, I do not know what I'm doing right now. I'll tell you that right now. Just flying by the seat of my pants. I hope this looks right. Okay, I'm gonna stop. That started to become all one color, and I like could sense it was happening. So what I gotta do is I gotta come in here and recreate these shadows, or it's just not gonna make any sense. Make sure that these look like they're setting the shadows. Yeah, that's good. I might like, yeah, you know what, Squeegee? I'm gonna fill this in. I don't like that like got really liney, but it served its purpose. And I love the micron. You can paint right over it. Look at that. It's so awesome. It served its purpose. Like I went small, and because I went small, I can expand and go bigger, which is another thing to remember with watercolor. I can't touch those mushrooms. The red would get like reactivated. But anyways, I'm gonna just make it so that those lines are not as strong. And I don't think it was a mistake because I can smooth out the lines, and I don't need to like, and I'm just using water, and I know it's not gonna get any darker because I'm using the paint that's on, this was tricky because it's a glass jar. Using the paint that's just was on the paper. Cool, okay. Yeah. All right, we're almost done. I hope this has helped you feel inspired to or braver to do tiny painting. And also realize, like, there's really no such thing as mistakes. Like, if you don't like it, it just means that it's not done. That needs more chocolate. Do-do-do. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna get the dark first, and I'm gonna do these dark areas, and then as it runs out, I'm gonna do the same thing as I finish. Use the brush when the paint has come off of it for the light areas. There's a crow with like a nest with a baby in my palm tree. She just landed. She's been like gathering Mrs. Maple Butter's fur from the yard and like pieces of grass and making her little nest. I'm not usually like into crows, but she's kind of cute. I hope that just by watching, even if you're like watching this and you don't end up painting this exact thing, that you're picking up stuff. I know I do. Like, there's also something cool about the mind where like when you're relaxed, say you're just watching this while you have some tea and you're not painting, if you're relaxed and you're just like really receiving it, you don't need to think about like, oh wait, I don't remember what that was, or I don't remember what, you are getting it. Like it's going into your brain. I found that works with things, especially things that are like seem difficult, or like the information passes by and I'm like, wait, I don't know if I got that. I just kind of trust that I did, because as soon as you start to think you didn't get something, now you're filling up your mind with that and you're really not getting the next thing. So if you just keep staying in the space of just being in a relaxed state and just trusting that you're getting it, it's a really cool trick for absorbing knowledge. I use it all the time, especially when I'm learning different languages, or like doing something like this, like you're doing right now, like watching someone do something and I'm not able to be doing it with them. Just stay relaxed. Okay, cool. All right, now comes, I think this is my most scary part, is like doing the light part. Ah! I don't like this. You know what? I'm gonna do the floor first, because the floor definitely needs to be brown, and I'm not sure that the back needs to be that brown. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna come around. Okay. Oh, I didn't do that flower or the dandelion. I'm gonna come around, and then I'm gonna quick get some water. Not too much. And oh geez, that was too much. And like blend it, because I don't like those lines. Oh dear. You're watching me do things I didn't want to do in the moment. Oh, I forgot that's a jar. So I'm gonna go right through it. And under it. Okay, now I'm gonna get the dark and really quick do the shadows. Shadows are like, just think of where the sun is coming from and like make sure they're all the same orientation. That's pretty much it. Like, the sun is, let's say it's coming from there. Like shadows, they wouldn't be, I mean, I guess they would be symmetrical if the sun was like directly overhead, but I'm gonna do it like that. That's good. I really hope this looks good. I'm getting like so sucked into the detail, I forgot to, and this is a good time to remind you guys, like, totally pull back physically. I learned this from my favorite one, well, one of my favorite painting teachers that I had, she would always remind me, okay, step back, like physically remove yourself, look from afar. And it served me well. And I always try to catch my students before it's too late. And it's funny because I can see on their faces, they feel exactly how I felt. It's like they don't want to leave the vicinity. They're like, wait, what? No, I don't want to. But then when you step back, you're like, oh yeah. Yeah, that was necessary. Oh, see, now I'm getting the hang of this light thing. See, that's how I wish I would have done the other ones. Now I know. And now, if any of you buy this book, you'll forever look at the cover and be like, thinking of this moment. Okay, come back through and do the shadow. Do. Uh-oh, my paint. I don't want to make more paint. You know what? It's too wet for me to do the shadow. So, well, I guess that's fine. There's no shadow there. Why would I do that? And then, oh, I love it when there's like just enough paint to finish. Now I'm gonna do the top. Now the top should be like equal to one of these shelves, but also there's no shelf above it. So for dimensional purposes, I think maybe the top should be a little bit darker. But again, see, I don't want to fill in all those white spots. It's tempting, but I will not do it. All right, so I'm gonna let all that dry. I'm gonna come in and do my little fern. Should be done now. Let's see. Do I want to use this crazy green? Yeah, this crazy light green. I have this little fern in my bedroom. It's like foofy and fluffy. It's like a little fairy fern. I feel like, oh gosh, way too much water. Oh no. Okay, so I'm just gonna do dots right now. Like they're kind of like line dots. And I think that I need more paint. I got way too much water. Yeah, I don't know about this in front of the orange. That was an interesting choice. I'm gonna go way over here. So I'm doing this based on this fern that I have. It like sends out these little fluffy shoots. And I'm gonna make it go over the pot because that's realistic. Plants don't just like stay in a lump on top of the pot. And since it looked so weird in front of the orange, I'm just making it bigger than originally thought. And then I'm gonna do like, I'm just gonna go down there too. And then you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get really dense on the pigment. Oh no, I'm not gonna do that. I was gonna color that in, but that's gonna look terrible. All right, I'm gonna pull away. Okay, it looks better than I thought. And now I'm just gonna come in here with only water and finish those drawers, right? Because I just kind of want to wash it brown and leave white for this kind of style. And then there definitely needs to be a little bit of depth in the bar recesses. So I'm gonna get this last bit of paint and I'm gonna try to do that, because that back corner there is the farthest away. So if I neglect that, it's gonna look weird. Okay, I'm just going to grab, like, I don't know. Oh, this light green and color in this crystal because it just looked weird. Cool, that looks so much better. Oh, and then I'm gonna get a little bit of pink on there. Crystals are really fun. You know what, I might do a crystal painting after this. Crystals are really fun because they're like so many colors. Like you'll look at it from a glance and be like, oh, it's purple, but it actually has like almost everything in it when you're doing it more like blown up. So I'm trying to recreate that on like 1/24 of a scale. Okay, I am going to stop. because that was a long video. And thank you so much for watching. I really hope that helped you with your tininess. And yeah, pretty happy with it.